Today I'm going to show you how to decorate a romantic tutu to look like a waltz of the flowers. Basically I'm going to show you 4 steps. You're going to make an applique, you're going to purchase some mesh liner for a bathing suit, you're going to get green felt and hot pink felt to make the petals. You're going to overlay some shiny organza over top, and then you're going to trim the little pieces with some decorative trim. So this is your basic romantic tutu. It was a catalog order. It's attached tulle. So I'm going to just flip it here, and we're going to put the trim on the top here. So I've purchased some bathing suit liner. It's kind of a skin color. If you have a darker student, you can get some a little bit darker, but this is basically a liner. It's stretchy, and I doubled it over and cut it in the shape of a triangle. And we're going to put that in the center here. So we're going to cut just a tiny bit off of the top. And you're going to pin this on your tutu. That's the first piece you're going to do. And get your pins, pin that on so you can stitch it so that you can sew this easier. You want to kind of center it, and you're just making this sweetheart neckline. And I usually do the center. You want to make sure that's centered pretty well. So the inside is going to look like this, and I will probably pin this down on the inside as well, so it makes the sewing a little easier. Okay, so the next step is going to be adding either a purchased applique. You can put an applique on either side to cover up this mesh. I've actually made this one with some lace and some flowers and some beads, and it's really inexpensive. It was probably maybe $1. This is all stuff I had at home, but you can purchase an expensive applique if you want, or you can make that yourself. This one is just going to lay right over the mesh. And again, you want to center that. And then you're going to pin that on. I've got it overhanging about 1/2 inch over the mesh, so it's going to cover that. And we're actually not even going to use a sewing machine. We're going to hand sew all of this. So if you don't have a sewing machine, that is okay. Now you don't want to glue that on. You want it to be hand stitched, because that way you can take it off if you need to. So basically you're going to go in there and you're going to stitch all the way around, and then you're going to stitch the interior. And I'm going to use 9 pieces of the green felt to make the petals. I've pinned the petals in a circle with about 1 inch to 1.5 inch gap in between. And these petals are about 12 inches long, or about halfway down, and I'm going to hand stitch those on. I did try a sewing machine version of this. It's really challenging to stick all that tulle under there, so I would recommend hand stitching that on. So the green petals are stitched all the way around. I've now added your flower petals. So I've basically taken some hot pink felt, and I've added a piece of shiny organza on the top of that. I'm going to glue that at the top and the bottom to make one of my petals. And again, I've used 9 petals here. And so you'll glue that at the top and the bottom. And this doesn't have to be perfect, because we're going to put a decorative trim along the outside. So you just want that to be attached. And I actually glued these onto the felt. So if you did want to take everything off, you could. So you've got these 9 petals in between. The very last step, we're going to take a decorative trim, and you can be creative here and you can use whatever color trim. So I'm going to actually glue that on my petals. And that way, there's not really a whole lot of sewing going on with this project. You could sew that on if you wanted to, but hot glue is much faster. So I'm going to work around and do all of these petals all the way around. This is the completed project.